Meet the Bounty Hunter, the build which I'm currently using to grind through grunt hunts and head hunts in the new Burning Springs expansion. The special stats for this build are 8 points of strength, 15 perception, 9 endurance, 1 charisma, 15 intelligence, 15 agility, and 3 luck. This includes 2 maxed out legendary special perk cards in order to ensure both perception and intelligence are as high as they can be. Perception and agility are the 2 really important ones here, as both have incredibly powerful perk cards which you don't want to miss out on. The reason I have intelligence raised so high is because it boosts XP earned, and I'm trying to get through the scoreboard ASAP, so every little helps there. There are a lot of different perks for me to cover here, so to make things a little easier to follow, I split all of my perks into 3 different categories. Major perks are critical to the build, meaning you must get them if you want things to work out. Minor perks still help you out, though could be switched out without there being too big of an impact. And finally, there are the convenience perks, which are all just quality of life stuff and can happily be swapped with something else if you don't need them. We're going to start off with the major perks, the first of which is Down Ranger. This provides a 20% damage boost to enemies who are far away, which is the ideal distance away you want to be anyway. We then have Sniper, which makes actually landing your shot while zoomed in on your targets much easier, helping you to ensure you actually land those headshots. Scoped Up is up next, granting an extra 50% range when aiming with a scope. It's important to make sure you don't ever have to deal with damage drop-off, and this perk ensures that won't occur. Long Shot also helps with this, making it so your scoped weapons have better range and accuracy. For just a single perk point, this is probably the most efficient of all the sniping perks for ensuring you actually kill enemies at range. Number Cruncher is the one damage perk I recommend for literally every build out there, as it provides a percentage damage boost based off the AP cost of your weapon. In the case of our Sniper, this is an 82% damage increase, which is wild. Tank Killer is less crazy on the numbers, but still helpful, letting us punch through almost half of the armour of our targets, especially handy in Burning Springs, where half the raiders have power armour and half the Deathclaws are heavily kitted out too. Final of the perception perks is Smart Shot, which gives a 25% damage boost to weak spot shots while aiming with a scoped weapon. Basically, anytime you land a proper sniper headshot, you're more likely to kill. The only essential perk in Endurance is Radiation Power. This is a ghoul restricted perk card, and with it we get a flat 20% damage boost at the cost of a small amount of glow. For our sniper rifle, this is amazing, as we're not firing a ton of shots anyway, so the downside is mitigated. Onto the essential agility perks, where we've got quite a few, and the first of which is Sneak. Real simple one here, just makes you harder to detect. As long as you stay hidden, not only will you avoid being attacked by the enemy, but you'll also get a sneak attack multiplier, making you deal drastically more damage. Gunslinger Master is a perk card I'm trying out with snipers right now. With this you gain onslaught stacks while not attacking, and then have the damage bonus saved for when you finally do attack. For a slow firing weapon like a sniper, in theory this should provide a nice little damage boost, though I fear I'm missing the actual damage effect somehow, as I always seem to mess up the onslaught mechanic whenever I engage with it. One thing I can't mess up is the Covert Operative perk, which just makes our sneak attacks even more deadly than they normally would be. Gunslinger is another damage boosting perk, making it so our weak spot attacks deal an extra 12% damage. This isn't the highest of damage boost, but it works anytime you land a shot on the right body part, so should be easy enough to maintain. Mr. Sandman is another perk to boost our sneak attack damage, this time by 100%, though it only does work if we've remembered to put a suppressor on our weapons. Last of the major perks is Faulty Spots, granting a 15% damage boost to weak spots. This is basically just a better version of Gunslinger, costing a point less and giving an extra 3% boost. Only downside is that it's ghoul exclusive, so all you smooth skins out there are missing out. Let's go over the minor perks now, which there aren't quite so many of, so should be nice and quick to get through. First is Arms of Steel. This is a strength perk which increases the accuracy of all ranged weapons. Not sure if I need quite this many accuracy boosts, but I'd rather ensure I always hit where I'm aiming. Fireproof is an endurance perk, which reduces damage from fire and explosions, which are 2 of the more deadly damage types you can run into. Demolition Expert makes it so your own explosives get a big old damage boost, meaning your grenade should actually be able to clear crowds of weak enemies. Science provides a substantial boost to all energy damage, thanks to having high intelligence. Our primary weapon isn't energy based, but I decided to try a secondary weapon which is, so figured I should have this perk card equipped for that reason. The Evasive perk card gives you a chance to dodge any damage which comes your way. This scales with agility, which will always be high with this build, meaning that anytime an enemy does manage to attack you, there's a chance they just won't do any damage. Last of the minor perks is Junk Shield, which makes you tougher while hoarding junk items. This really isn't an important perk to go for, but I tend to hoard junk and had an extra point to work with, so I figured, why not? For the convenience perks, I'm not going to go over them one at a time, but instead just list them all and give the general gist of why they're all here. The convenience perks are Strongback, Travelling Pharmacy, Bandolier, Through Hiker, Starch Jeans, Inspirational, Batteries Included, White Knight, Gunsmith, and Good with Salt. These perks help me with my carry weight, allowing me to loot everything all at once, ensure my equipment lasts as long as possible, and even provide a small XP boost courtesy of Inspirational. None of these perks are actually required for the build, but they do tend to reduce the amount of boring inventory management I had to do. Time to talk about the equipment now, where we'll start with the star of the show, my Instigating VATS Enhanced 50 cal Sniper Rifle. This weapon is designed to deal as much damage in a single shot as possible. It's modded out to max damage while still staying sneaky and accurate. The VATS Enhanced effect is great for making it so you don't always have to manually aim to land your shots, and Instigating is a decent effect for snipers, though there are other damage related legendary effects you could replace this with and still be just as effective. For example, the legendary effect I had on my secondary weapon was Assassins, which is pretty great for bounty hunting, as you're generally going after humans. This weapon is the Vault 63 Laser Carbine. I decided to try this weapon out as you can now buy the plan for it in Highwaytown, and I knew I wanted some form of secondary weapon to work with. After a little testing, I don't hate this weapon, but I don't love it for the build either. Ideally, I'd love to have a burst fire rifle of some kind, maybe an energy based one that can have a scope equipped too, but I'm not sure that sort of weapon exists within the game. Do let me know if there is a better secondary I could go for, as I'm very much open to suggestions here. The armour for this build isn't all that important. I'm just running my standard gear that I always use, as I still haven't made any new armour to try out. I will showcase you on screen the items I'm wearing, but as you shouldn't be taking damage often anyway, the resistances aren't that critical. For those interested in the fashion side of things, let's now cover the apparel I was wearing. The main piece is the Elite Ranger armour outfit. The hat is the cowboy hat, and I then finish the look with a skull bandana, in order to try and get a proper bounty hunter feel to it all. This is a long-range sniper build, designed to pick off their targets at a distance without ever taking damage themselves. A perfect fight is one where you spot your target from a distance, take a single shot to kill them, and never be detected at all. I found this worked great for dealing with a new bounty hunting system, and most grunt hunts were only taking me about a minute to complete. Just show up at the location, look through your scope till you find the target, and then place a few well-aimed 50 caliber rounds in their skull so you can head back to Highwaytown and pick up another bounty mission. I'd love to say this is how it worked for both grunt hunts and head hunts, but I'm sure we've all seen that head hunts are just pure chaos, with a dozen different players descending on a single bounty target and unleashing a ludicrous amount of firepower on them. In theory, this build should be able to do well on head hunts when things aren't so heavily in the player's favour, but so long as every one of these events gathers half a server, none of us will have to try that hard to fulfill the contract. Manual sniping is the primary way I played this build, but it's also very good inside of VATS. The high perception, combined with the VATS enhanced legendary effect, made it so I was pretty much always going to land my headshots inside of VATS with a 95% chance. This means the build isn't exclusive to those of us who love to snipe, but should also be viable for players who aren't using mouse and keyboard and don't have pinpoint accuracy. Just rely on the VATS system a little more, and you should have an easy time. Additionally, when a target does end up in close range, you might want to focus on doing this as well. A guaranteed headshot with a sniper at close range still does a crazy amount of damage. The alternate option for close range is to switch to your secondary weapon, which should be designed more for crowd clearing and panic situations. If you start to get swarmed, then using a combination of explosives and a faster firing weapon should serve you well, but if things do get a little too hairy, then don't be reluctant to run away. You're best suited to long distance combat, and no enemy in the game can match your range, so getting things back in your favour is always a smart move. I hope you all enjoyed seeing what sort of build I'm running for the new bounty hunting system. If you enjoyed the video, then give it a like, and feel free to subscribe for more Fallout character builds. If you'd like to see more of me just playing 76, then go check out my second channel, Bad Company Gaming. I've just started a crafted items only challenge run over there, plus I will be live streaming some of it shortly after this build is out, so feel free to come and say hi. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video, As always, thanks for watching. Sarge out.